What the fuck is happening, fam? It is your boy, the Sultan of Sativa, the Ayatollah of Indica, a.k.a. the President of the United Bakes of America, Donald Blunt, a.k.a. Ned Sparks, a.k.a. Willie the Cool Penguin, a.k.a. Dwight Durbin, a.k.a. fucking John F. Kennedy, a.k.a. fucking Benjamin Franklin, a.k.a. The Holy Hashash, a.k.a. the Hicks and Hash, a.k.a. the Gordon the Ganj. Some of these times I don't fucking remember all of the names. So many. Sunday night, time for a sermon. Just changed my shirt up. Had to put on an old school little Death Before Dishonor. Probably circa, I don't know, 2012 to 2014-ish. From a time I saw them at the Art Space, I believe. Yeah, it was definitely Art Space because me and my man Chris Eller, Norman, and I think fucking Chris Woodyard. Maybe Norman wasn't with us. Probably it was actually Woodyard, Sean, and Chris Eller, and Brian from Death Before Dishonor. And we went over to Joe Square, got us a tasty fucking pizza. I went over to the fucking gay bar that's now the Royal Blue. I wish I could remember the name of that place. One day I'll have somebody from the old hardcore scene on here to chop it up. Maybe Chris from End It, if he would do it. Maybe. Who knows? Should probably do an episode with Woodyard. He's an interesting character. I haven't talked to him in fucking forever. It's been a long, life's interesting. We're on episode 98 here, coming up on episode 100. This has been a cool weekend. I didn't have my kids this weekend yesterday. I guess before I dive into my weekend and all the stuff that I want to get into for this evening, I'm fucking gonna start putting ads in this shit, bro. No longer am I gonna be I'm not fucking putting ads. There's a little thing, I can just press a button and they'll insert their own fucking ads. And if in any way they try to say, hey, you can't say these things or you're not going to make any money, then I guess it won't make any money. But either way, you still share this shit. I am adding a new layer to the Patreon where you will be able to watch these episodes before they're available anywhere else, and also without any advertising break, because it'll just be the fucking raw video after it's edited up, And plus, there's a bunch more shit that I'm going to be diving into. Obviously, I'm still going to have the 3 times a month call. I actually just finished one and recorded the whole thing using some fancy features of Zoom, being able to upload use some screen share features as I will be doing on this as well. Just like I did. If you watched the last episode, you'll know that's exactly what I did. I've got, I think 92 is out, so we got 5 episodes. 95 is a banger. I got 2 more episodes, well, 1 more episode before episode 100. And if I don't find somebody to fucking do episode 100 ASAP, then I'm going to be mad. I want to be somebody cool. I thought I had someone. I'm going to reach out to them. Maybe try and set one last date. See if we can make it happen. Because if I could, that would be a banger of an episode 100. 95 is a good one, man. I'm telling you, if you haven't listened to it, go back. Check out Dr. Kim, Add Secret to Everything, everywhere. We were all over the place. She will be doing a part 2 at some point in the future. And we will dive deeper into whatever she's got going on. But hopefully she enjoyed hanging out. Friend, Let's Talk About It podcast. So when you hear ads, if you're listening to an old episode, if you say, oh, I'm going to go back and there's some shit about me talking about how I'm not taking any advertisers or not having sponsors, I got to get it wherever I can. And I'm actually fucking taking some extra time to do all this shit. Let's fucking get after it, man. And if you don't want to listen on Spotify, you can just pay the extra little bit for no ads on Patreon and watch that shit. Because what I'm going to do, as soon as I'm done recording, I'm going to upload them. I already have these other ones downloaded, so I'm going to start uploading the other ones to Patreon right now. You'll be able to get an exclusive look. You obviously won't know that unless I say it on my social media, because I do have, like I said, 5 in the clip right now. I'm going to add another layer. I'm going to also make some Patreon posts that are free because there's certain information and shit that I'm watching and listening to. I want you to check it out, and you can go check it out there because I'm tired of being shadow banned on the gram. I got some weed content about to come out. I'm still looking at my 2 jars. If you listen to my last episode, you'll know that I got a couple connoisseur jars that need to be made into videos, and I want to smoke them, but I have not because they need to be made into a video. What else is happening? Okay, so I guess I can get into my weekend a little bit. Went to a wedding. Love going to weddings. Love it. For many years now, I've loved going to weddings. Usually there is an opportunity for me to get drunk and cut some rugs and act a fool. This was not that type of situation, which is fine. This was actually a wedding held at the Baltimore Basilica, the oldest basilica actually, you know what I'm going to do? Well, Baltimore. So I'm going to go right to share screen here, and we will look at the Baltimore Basilica together. Share screen. Baltimore Basilica being shared. Great. Wikipedia. Basilica of the National Shrine of the Assumption of the Blessed Mary. What does that even mean? Dude, it's fucking beautiful in there. Additionally, it is a parish church, ranked minor basilica, and national shrine. It is considered the masterpiece of Benjamin Henry Latrobe, the father of American architecture. Basilica was constructed between 1806 to a design of Benjamin Henry Latrobe, America's first professionally trained architect, and Thomas Jefferson's architect of the U.S. Capitol. Was built under the guidance of the first American bishop of the Roman Catholic Church, John Carroll. The basilica was blessed and opened for use on May 13th, 31st, 1821. Hey, I was wondering. Oh, many famous events have occurred within the walls, including the funeral mass of Charles Carroll of Carrollton. Don't care. Catholic signatory. Oh, the only Catholic signatory of the Declaration of Independence. Oh, wow. Carroll had been the last of the surviving signers. Most of the first American bishops were consecrated here. More priests were ordained there than any other church in America. Interesting. Building hosted many of the 19th century meetings that shaped the Catholic Church in America, including 7 provincial councils. Actually, I saw it on the wall. They had a thing about it. Led to the founding of the Catholic University of America. Grandson, Paul Revere's grandson was compelled to convert to Catholicism after going there. And I'll tell you what, man, it is really fucking epic. Wish they had some other stuff in there. 21st century restoration. $34 million restoration project was completed in 2006. Okay. Many misguided accretions were corrected. The original wall colors were restored. Dude, I'm telling you, those wall colors, oh my God. It was absolutely beautiful. I had never been in there, but it was very beautiful. Damn, there was an undercroft. Oh, shit. Dude. I'm telling you, this architecture is absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend going to check it out as soon as you possibly can. Wonderful, wonderful place to go, and to see some people get married there was really awesome. And what I thought was cool kind of, just one of those little synchronicitous moments where, you're in the right place. I've been on my sovereign citizen kick, as you know, and the first thing this bishop starts talking about when he's giving his sermon about, or like, his part of the process or whatever, he starts talking about marriage being a contract. And he talks about the importance of understanding the contractual obligations that each party has and is contained therein within the bounds of the contract, and what that means, and the in sickness and in health, and the commitment to God, and how this was really something that was something to be taken seriously. And just thinking about it from that perspective, how, I mean, honestly, all I've been listening to lately is stuff about law, how we're fucked. And tonight, where I'm actually going to get into some of those things, definitions of words. I think if you've been listening for any length of time recently, you'll know that's something that I've been discussing a lot. And I think it's important that we get into it. And today I want to, since I can do this whole screen sharing thing like a fucking 21st century podcaster, I guess I should do that. And I can just show you some of the shit, especially since I don't like taking a bunch of extra time to put in sources and where these things are coming from, since I'm the one typing it up and doing everything myself. But yeah, so we can get into that because I need to roll another joint. Oh yeah, but my weekend, sure. Before I went to this wedding, and then it was also cool because they took their pictures. There's this gigantic photo of Christ coming down off the cross, and I mean, it really is a beautiful photo. I mean, it's huge. I forget exactly who gifted it to the basilica, but I know the other painting was like gifted by like Louis the 13th or 16th, one of them. But one of them has their own booze. One of them gifted this painting to the basilica. Maybe it was they're one and the same. Who knows? If I remember correctly, I feel like some of these kings didn't even have that name. They just named themselves that. Yeah, Louis the 13th. Like all of them are Louis. There's 13 Louis. I mean, that just seems like a lot. I mean, I guess if it's the same royal bloodline, because if it's the same royal bloodline, why wouldn't, and you just keep having kids, why wouldn't they just fucking all be named Louis? Fuck it. Especially if they're gonna die in a war. It's like, okay, now you're Louis. Well, that's Louis. Well, you're Louis too. You're Louis 13. Excuse me. You know me getting absolutely ripped. Before I went to this wedding, I went to a seminar. My man, psychedelic athlete, Mike Turpin, the Terp. That was great. I went to one of his seminars a couple months ago. I mean, he just is really quite a character of a dude. You can check out. He has a podcast. I don't know if he still utilizes it or not, but it's called the Psychedelic Athlete Podcast. Highly recommend you check it out. Some great episodes. That's how I got introduced to Sean Doherty. We have an episode on here. You should check it out if you haven't already. The Octopus, my man. I actually need to take a trip out to Ohio in the very near future to go get some training in and hang out for a couple days, Super cool dude. Fucking genius in the martial arts realm. Been doing this jiu-jitsu shit 30 years. And it's really he's a good dude, and the fact that he invited me out is really fucking cool. Him and I talked on the phone a bunch before we did a podcast episode so that we could kind of get to know each other a little better, kind of get the ins and outs of who we are. Good episode. Go listen to it. I don't know the number, 80 something, maybe, probably. I kind of want to do for episode 100 a follow up with somebody that I've already talked to. Mackey's out. He's already told me no. I tried to. I even told him that I would compromise some of my journalistic integrity by not bringing up certain shit and chopping it up with him about just other life shit, because he has such a cool family history. His life has been pretty interesting growing up in and around DC, and I know a lot of people hate him, and he gets kind of a bad rap, even still as a like everyday part of the game, But honestly, I've always felt like the people who talk shit on that guy, regardless of whatever bullshit they say. I mean, I really have always just felt like they're fucking losers, and they live with a loser mentality where they blame anybody and everybody else for whatever their fucking problems are, including the owner of a company who has nothing to do with anything they were complaining about. Kind of crazy. And the people that they supported, the people who actually were causing these issues that they had. I mean, it really comes down to just like pure stupidity in so many ways. I could probably get my homegirl, both my homegirls actually, from were freed from Last Prisoner Project. Steph Sheps, my girl Natalia Wade. Shit, I should even try to see if Yambe Tosh would get back on. We had a cool convo. Big Eddie, I don't think is around anymore. Mr. Wiedenfeld. I kind of almost want to get Bill Bronner on, dude. I mean, he's got a cool story too, and he's just funny, man. I mean, he's a funny individual, but he's so kind, caring, compassionate, just does a lot of cool stuff, is an interesting human. Anybody else interesting? Baker was on a while ago. I don't think it's time for him to come back yet. Maybe. I don't think Chad to come back on has been too soon. I need to go out, spend some money, do another training mission, so we have something else to talk about. Yeah, so need to get somebody fucking tight in there. The seminar was dope. Had a good time, learned some shit, learned how to choke people better, learned how to deal with some positions that I've been playing around with lately that, just I like Mike's thought process when it comes to grappling, and he was really talking about it a bunch of the seminar. It's like, if you're a grappler, you shouldn't be thinking of things in terms of like jiu-jitsu moves, right? It's more about thinking of things in terms of not jiu-jitsu moves, but like grabbing, twisting, grinding, smashing, maneuvering, just fucking. I mean, it's like, hey, this set of bones goes this way, and this way, but it's not supposed to go this way or this way. So let me fucking, what do I need to do to manipulate it this way or all the way this way, or, fucking break something in the foot? Like just grabbing and twisting and bending. And can you create some movement from that? And I thought that was like such a good way, because that's really what my style of jiu-jitsu is. I mean, there's some things I do that are pretty clean, and when I'm in a bad position, man, if you give me an opportunity to start attacking something and change the momentum, that's need to do another competition. Maybe PBJJF Worlds is at the end of the month. I don't even know what I weigh right now. Fuck. I gotta figure it out, dude. Some shit I just feel like I gotta figure it the fuck out. I went to this wedding. That was good. Today I went to church. Saw my kids. That was great. Always good to see the kids. They did not have soccer today because the rain. They did not want to come train. That was fine. They were with their mom. They didn't have to do that if they didn't want to today. But this week, when they're back with dad, back to Grindstone, baby. My son's birthday is coming up. 4 years old. 4 fucking years old. All I want is another baby. I got one, and now I need another. I need a new woman to have some babies with. So if you're looking to have some babies and you're not a cunt, we could be amicable. Let's have some babies, man. It's our job to spread our DNA around, man. And I can't help that my body is pumping, coursing full of testosterone. It's why my chest is so hairy. It's why my beard has been thick since I was a teenager. It's why I'm losing the hair up top. That and all the hats that I wore forever. Yeah, it's all getting on my back. It's testosterone coursing through my veins, man. And I'm here to. Oh my god, I cracked myself up. Yeah, man. Thinking about this. Just like thinking about how much I've been reading the Bible, and how much I've been looking into the Constitution. I actually was talking to my uncle earlier, and my uncle's he's fucking rad, man, in a lot of ways. I mean, he's definitely a boomer in a lot of ways too. And we were just like talking. He called me to ask if I was going to this family function in a couple weeks down in Virginia. Which I'm actually pretty excited about. Although my uncle, who is a fucking he's like technically, I guess, it's my dad's cousin, so he's like my second cousin. His wife owned a property we rented when we had Charlie, and this motherfucker, this shit, the first floor didn't get above 53 degrees, dude. We had a fucking newborn. The baseboard heating was garbage, didn't work. Had to use space heaters. This is family, and there was more to it. They didn't do what they said they were going to do in the rehabbing process. Tried to save money at every corner. I mean, it really was fucked up, and it was like kind of shitty. And they kept our security deposit over like a couple things left in the fridge, and like I don't know, a bag of trash or something out in the living room. A whole $1,000 deposit. So if he tries to like be buddy buddy with me when I see him or his wife, it's gonna be like, hey, Uncle Darren, you owe me $1,000. If you would like to have any conversation with me, it's going to cost you $1,000. Otherwise, kindly, fuck off. And this fool doesn't have kids. He doesn't know what it's like. This was my first baby. We were planning on staying there for a couple of years at least. And instead, you know what? Daddy got it together and bought us a fucking house. If you listen to my other episodes, you know that I fucked that up a few years ago, but it all worked out for the best. I think God's plan, man. Many are called, few are chosen. And you were listening to one who was chosen. I mean, that's apparent to me. It may not be apparent to you, and that's okay. You're not looking at an entire life's work. You're not looking at the entire body. And it's not done. What I set out to achieve is not finished. And has not, hardly, the surface has not even been scratched. I think about that shit, man, and how important it is to be who we're supposed to be. And every day I'm like trying to find ways to really continue to incorporate my spiritual journey into my daily routines. So as I'm looking kind of muzzle, my mustache is already coming back in, but lighting kind of makes it seem like it's not bad. But my barber cut my mustache a little short, and like the rest of my beard looked good, but I was definitely having like a Uzbekistan vibe. A little neck beardy action. But I think about the Bible, and whether you look at it as literal stories that have happened to people that are real humans, throughout the last history, there's some shit they say is real, and there's a lot of evidence for. I'm reading a book called Evidence about just that, but regardless of what your feelings are, but I grew up Catholic. I had to overcome, I put the Bible down for a long time because, I had to overcome my own resentments and bullshit. And really I'm becoming a father and saying, okay, what do I need to do to like help my kids on their spiritual journey? Because this world of materialism and consumerism and focusing only on here and now in the flesh, and it's like our flesh body, yes, it is important that we take care of it to the best of our abilities, but at the end of the day, it is but a vessel for our spirit. It is but a vessel for the spirit, man. And so, I do believe that reading the Bible and implementing, even if you don't believe one word as truth, for whatever reason, not one word, if you were to take the principles and lessons learned in this book, you can find ways to apply them to your life, and you will live a better life where you will focus on the things that are important. You won't fall victim as terribly as many do to the ways of this fucking plane of existence. And while I've always been somebody that's been a little out there and pushed the limits and done many things in many realms, and traveled many levels of degeneracy myself, I mean, there are things that if they came out, like, yeah, I would feel embarrassed or shameful, or they're just maybe not embarrassed or shameful, but they're not my proudest moments, and they're not things that I really would want to have to talk about to the whole world. But at the same time, like, honestly, I mean, like, I did a lot of things, you know. You could maybe imagine, and you figure the fuck out for yourself. But the point is, I'm happier, more peaceful, joyous, free feeling when I'm taking these things that I've read out of the book and apply them in my life, you know? And I mean, look, there is as corny as many Christians are, I mean, there is a very real factor in that. Like, there are elements of, the shit that Jesus said. Some of it cracks me the fuck up, man, because I read it and I'm like, he's being sarcastic here, or like, there are times where it's like, this dude is saying some straight up badassery. The shit he's saying is fucking fire. And and again, there's tie-ins to the law. I actually, I was just on Patreon call, and a big part of that I was going through some of what I was reading today about the process before the crucifixion, and kind of the events leading up to it, and some of the shit that's happening and what Jesus said. And it is kind of I think it's kind of cool. And I kind of want to I kind of want to upload it as a regular podcast because I want people to hear it. And, but honestly, who knows? Maybe I don't necessarily want to get into it right this second, but I mean, I kind of feel like I should. What are we at? Well, how much time we've been jamming? 30 minutes. Okay. Let's peep the scene here. What do we got? Share. Since some of this is already here, I'll kind of do a little. I got the Jerusalem Bible. King James, sometimes I think people get a little confused. So we'll peep the scene on this Jerusalem Bible. Messiah enters Jerusalem. Jesus foretells his death. The unbelief of the Jews. They fucking did Jesus declare. Actually, you know what? Damn, I feel like I need to. Can I close this? All right, so right here, here we go. So Jesus is saying some shit to fulfill the prophecy from Isaiah about how he is the Son of Man. He has blinded their heart, blah, blah, blah. Isaiah said this when he saw his glory, and his words referred to Jesus, and yet there were many who did not believe in him, even among the leading men, and they did not admit it. Through fear of the Pharisees and fear of being expelled from the synagogue, they put honor from men before the honor that comes from God. That's what I'm saying. They put the honor from men before the honor that comes from God. Worrying about things of this earth before the things of God. Jesus declared publicly. Jesus putting him on notice, man. Any type of court action you're taking, you gotta put them on notice. You gotta let them know, hey, I tried to do the right thing here. I try not to argue with anybody. But if I gotta be dragged, I mean, there's a verse in Matthew, and I know it's in maybe Matthew and Luke, but he talks about going. If they want to take you to fucking court, do not argue with your accuser. Fucking, do what you gotta do to solve it. And if you gotta go to court, you put them on notice. Jesus put them on notice. He said, whoever believes in me believes not in me, but in the one who sent me. And whoever sees me sees the one who sent me. I, the light, have come into the world so that whoever believes in me need not stay in the dark anymore. And now that I'm reading that, pause for a quick second. I mean, that is the age-old Luciferian tale, the light bringer, the Prometheus tale, the bringer of light to get out of the darkness. If anyone hears my words and does not keep them faithfully, it is not I who shall condemn him, But since I have come not to condemn the world, but to save the world, he who rejects me and refuses my words has his judge already. The word itself that I have spoken will be his judge on the last day, for what I have spoken does not come from myself. No, what I was to say, what I had to speak, was commanded by the Father who sent me. And I know that his commands mean eternal life, and therefore what the Father has told me is what I speak. Damn. Jesus washes disciples' feet, Last Supper, cool. He put them on notice, man. Treachery of Judas, farewell discourses. He's letting them know, people, I'm not going to be with you longer. Where I'm going, you cannot come. The most important commandment, a new commandment. Love one another just as I have loved you, but also must love one another. By this love you have for one another, everyone will know that you are my disciples. Set the fucking example, man. Let your actions speak louder than your words. That's all throughout that right there. Come on, man. You're telling me because you got a little fucking resentment, a little pissy pants resentment about whatever, that you can't fucking apply that to your life? You will follow me later. He's like, lay down your life for me. Yeah, I love how he talks to Simon, dude. I'll tell you solemnly, before the cock crows, you will have disowned me 3 times. Damn. Yeah, he lets them know. Where is it? Okay, can we please get... Oh, damn, I'm still in fucking 15. Okay, the arrest. Okay. Damn it. So mad at this shit. Trying to reload. Stupidness. Taking forever to load. But, so anyway, I'm going to start talking about it even while it's loading. Jesus is there. They're like going to arrest him. He's like, who are you looking for? They said, Jesus of Nazareth. He said, I am he. And when he says I am he, talks like it says that they all fell backwards. It's like, what type of Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker force push power is happening where, some last airbender shit where he says, I am he, and they all fucking fly back and fall on their ass. Then he asks him again, he says, who are you looking for? He said, I am he. But then, fucking Simon doing all this extra shit, trying to prove his love for Jesus, even though Jesus already told him, bro, you're not gonna fucking die for me. You're gonna tell people you don't even know me. Like, stop fucking fronting, dude. You are fronting. Where is... There it is. Okay. Alright. I should just download it. Fucking open Bible. Let's go, dude. Oh, there's Isaiah. I'm not gonna look up the prophecy. That's for another time. Jeremiah. Who else we got? The motherfucking Gospels. Ezekiel. Hey, Ezekiel. Fucking Daniel. What we got, man? Micah. Zechariah. Matthew. Okay, we're getting the Gospels here, man. Mark. Okay, whoa. Next now. Let's move it on up. Sorry, I'm just... Alright. Okay. John 17:7, 18. Here we go. This is where some of that law shit comes into play. Because it really is, if you look at procedure and the way law is, and, it's like all this shit is taken from back in the day. They just fucking change it up. Simon tries to fucking kill fucking Marcus, or whatever that guy's name is. One of the high priest's servants. Dallas? I don't know. I'm not going to scroll up further. Yeah, the high priest questioned Jesus about his disciples and his teaching. This is what he said, man. He let him know. He said, hey, I put y'all on notice. I've spoken openly for all the world to hear. I have always taught in the synagogue and in the temple where all the Jews meet together. I've said nothing in secret. But why ask me? Ask my hearers and what I taught. They know what I said. At these words, one of the guards standing there gave Jesus a slap in the face, saying, "Is that the way to answer the high priest?" Jesus replied, "If there is something wrong in what I said, then point it out. But if there is no offense in it, why do you strike me?" Jesus fucking getting ready to hit him with that damages, boy. That the guard put himself into dishonor, man. Jesus stayed in honor. So there's two concepts in law: honor and dishonor. One of the legal maxims, one of the legal principles, is stay in honor at all costs. And that shit applies. Dude, you want to hear how that fucking applies? If you have a fucking baby mom or a baby dad who is fucking obnoxious, might deal with a personality disorder, it's on you to make sure that you keep shit cool. Because at the end of the day, you gotta stay in honor at all costs. Because if you don't, you could be the one end up getting fucked up. Okay, let's see. They move him. They try to fucking, Simon denies Jesus. Jesus before Pilate. They let him to the fucking judgment room. They did not go, so they were unable to eat Passover. So Pilate came outside to them and said, "What charge do you bring against this man?" They fucking took him in there. Pilate's like, "All right, what's up?" They said, "If he were not a criminal, we should be handing him over to you." Pilate said, "Take him yourselves and try him by your own law." And the Jews answered, "We are not allowed to put a man to death." This is like such some like legalese, like some lawyery ass slimy shit, right? Is that we are not allowed to put a man to death. This was to fulfill the words Jesus had spoken, indicating the way he was going to die. So Pilate went back to the praetorium and called Jesus to him. "Are you the king of the Jews?" he asked. And Jesus replied, "Do you ask this of your own accord, or have others spoken to you about me?" Jesus is saying, "What proof do you have, man? Are you just saying this because that's what as a representative of the state, or is because there are actually people that have been injured and that I owe damages to?" It's legal shit, boy. I mean, he's in court essentially. Yes, it's funny. Court they've spoken about. Pilate answered, "Am I a Jew? It is your own people and the chief priests that have handed you over to me. What have you done?" Jesus replied, "Hard body. Mine is not a kingdom of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my men would have fought to prevent my being surrendered to the Jews, but my kingdom is not of this kind." And then he hits him with the legal shit. "So you are a king then?" You're implying that you're a king. You're saying you're king, not of this world, but you're still saying you're a king. That's legal shit, man. He's putting himself into fucking Pilate's jurisdiction. "It is you who say it," answered Jesus. Sending the ball right back to him. "You said that. I didn't say that," answered Jesus. "Yes, I am a king. I was born for this." How? I don't care who you are or what the situation is. I was born for this shit, boy. That's like just such a hard thing to say there. I was born for this. I came into this world for this, to bear witness to the truth. And all who are on the side of truth listen to my voice. First of all, tell me that's not hard as fuck. It's like, I came into this world for this, to bear witness to the truth. You say, I'm gonna talk that talk, man. And it's the truth. The truth is the truth. It doesn't need to be fucking, it stands on its own, 10 toes. You know? Pilate's response, he said, "Truth?" Said Pilate, "What is that?" And with that, he went out again to the Jews and said, "I find no case against him." He said, "Case dismissed, man. Let this man go. But according to a custom of yours, I should release one prisoner at the Passover. Would you like me then to release the king of the Jews?" The fact that he keeps saying that, it's like almost a little slight. And they all shouted, "Not this man," they said, "but Barabbas." Barabbas was a brigand. I don't even know what a brigand is, but the other translations I've read talk about Barabbas being a bad motherfucker. Pilate then had Jesus taken away and scourged, and after this the soldiers twisted some thorns into a crowd, put it on his head, dressed him in a purple robe, and they kept coming up to him saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they slapped him in the face. Hey, why keep slapping him, man? Pilate came outside again and said, "Look, I'm going to bring him out to you to let you see that I find no case." No case, man. Jesus then came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, and Pilate said, "Here is the man." When they saw him, the chief priests and guards shouted, "Crucify him." Pilate said, "Take him yourselves and crucify him. I can find no case against him." Pilate is really trying to fucking abide by the law. He said, there's no case. This man got to go. It's law. But this is where, and this actually kind of ties right back in, bro. Oh my God. Just talking about this brings it right back to what we just read a few minutes ago. Hold on. He said, "We have a law," the Jews replied, "and according to that law he ought to die, because he has claimed to be the Son of God." And when Pilate heard them say this, his fears increased. It's like Pilate's like, I don't want to fucking kill this dude. I don't want his blood on my hands because, if he's the Son of God and he kills it, I kill him? No. Re-entering the Praetorium, he said to Jesus, "Where do you come from?" And here's another a legal principle that people are not aware of, and it applies today. "Where do you come from?" But Jesus made no answer. There, it's like acquiesce. He acquiesced or acquiescence. I'd have to look it up. But essentially, what it means is that he like tacitly agreed by not replying to Pilate. He ends up actually agreeing, and this is how and you'll see because the very next line, Jesus made no answer. Pilate then said to him, "Are you refusing to speak to me?" Pilate's making sure that he's fucking giving him no response. A tacit agreement would be like if I had scissors and I said, kind of held the scissors up, looked at you, said, "Huh?" And then I set the scissors down kind of close to you and just backed up and walked away. If you didn't pick up the scissors and expressly say, or not even pick them up, if you didn't expressly say, "Hey, those aren't my scissors. I don't want them. I don't need them. They're not mine. They have nothing to do with me." If you don't do that, then you're now taking possession of the scissors. Those are your scissors. Because by watching me walk away after setting them down and making sure that you saw me set them down, you agree those are your scissors. So he said, "Are you refusing to speak to me? Surely you know I have the power to release you and the power to crucify you." Jesus knew he had to drink from the cup, man. He had to drink from the cup. And so he tacitly agreed. He said, "Yep, refusing to speak." But then he says, "You would have no power over me," replied Jesus, "if it had not been given to you from above. That is why the one who handed me over to you has the greater guilt." So he's letting him know, hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. It ain't all on you. But this is where it gets into the shit. And he's talking about, he was talking the shit he was talking about earlier about, the things that he's got are not of this earth, and people are too worried about the opinion of man versus the opinion of God. And this is a perfect example of it. I didn't even think about it. Um, so from that moment, Pilate was anxious to set him free, but the Jews shouted, "If you set him free, you are no friend of Caesar's. Anyone who makes himself king is defying Caesar." Hearing these words, Pilate had Jesus brought out and seated himself on a chair of judgment at a place called the Pavement. It was Passover prep day, 6th hour. "Here is your king," said Pilate to the Jews. Take him away, they said. "Crucify him." "Do you want me to crucify your king?" said Pilate. The chief priests answered, "We have no king except Caesar." So in the end, Pilate handed him over to be crucified. So he's more worried because they started threatening. They said, "Yeah, you're not a friend of Caesar." They're right there. I was more worried about the opinion of man than the opinion of God. So that's deep, man. That's deep. I really like that. Pilate wrote out a notice that it had been fixed to the cross, and it ran, "Jesus the Nazarene, King of the Jews." This notice was read by many of the Jews because the place where Jesus was crucified was not far from the city, and the writing was in Hebrew, Latin, and Greek. So the Jewish chief priest said to Pilate, "You should," again, here we go with the lawyer shit. "You should not write King of the Jews, but this man said, I am King of the Jews." Pilate answered, "What I have written, I have written." They tried to get him to change it. Not the King of the Jews, but he said he was King of the Jews. Think about it. For all of history after that, well, he's not exactly the King of the Jews. He said he was King of the Jews, and that's there's a difference. Okay, and I'm not going to keep diving into the to it, but just wanted to give a little bit of a time and example of how law comes into play. Some of these principles, some of these things. Let me actually, before we hop off here, I know I've talked a lot about definitions, and I keep bringing them up. Share screen. I'm gonna go to check here. One stupid fuck. There's a lot of um, resources for anybody kind of looking for them. I mean, onestupidfuck.com. He's got free courses, the whole nine, on teaching you how to get out of the fucking system. And it's not some quick thing. I mean, there's a lot of studying, there's a lot of being able to force your rights, but and it's not a path for everyone. But there, he does have definitions. See, there's been a lot of updates. I haven't been on here in a while. These endorsements are pretty crazy. Would highly recommend going to look up information about endorsements and the UCC3, old passports, passport application, passports. Pretty sure. Okay. All right. What do we got here? Breakdown of various crimes and penalties, criminal charges, commercial code. You look at traveling. 18 USC 1545, stopping someone with a passport, 250,000 up to 10 years in prison. I mean, the thing is really like how to enforce some of these things. Organizations pretending to be government, 50,000 up to 3 years in prison. Piracy, robbery ashore, 500,000 life in prison. What you're talking about, is fucking police taking your car. Telemarketing and email marketing fraud. This can be used against banks for marketing fraudulent loans such as credit cards, mortgages, etc. Up to 5 years in prison. Yeah. Can I file a suit for damages up to 100,000? Yes. Should I? I'm about to find out. Wow. Gonna have to look some of these up. Forgot about this. Internationally protected people, nationals. Definition of, let's see if there's some good ones. Definition of kidnapping from Black's Law. Definition 1. At common law, the forcible abduction or stealing and carrying away of a person from own country to another. Definition 2. The unlawful seizure and removal of persons from own country or state against his will. Police. Mail threats intent to extort money. Yeah. Interstate mail threats. Who do you put on there? CEO? Some of this financial stuff, this is definitely good stuff to dive into if you want to learn about credit and loans and start looking at some of this stuff. Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Consumer Credit Protection Act, government employees. These are all crimes. Slavery, indentured servitude. I'll look at what these things how they all play together. Various definitions that are useful to have. Definition of legal is the undoing of God's law. 1893 Dictionary of Arts and Sciences, Encyclopedia Britannica, Dictionary of Arts and Sciences and General Literature. Definition of attorn, like the root of attorney, to recognize or bring about a transfer, especially of property. Your attorney brings about the transfer of property. You are property to transfer something to another. You to the jail. To turn or transfer homage or service from one lord to another. This is the act of feudatories, vassals, or tenants upon the alienation from an estate. This, let's see, Black's Law 5th edition. Citizens are members of a political community who in their associated capacity have established or submitted themselves to the dominion of a government for the promotion of their general welfare and the protection of their individual as well as collective rights. So what you're saying is that, like here, when you look at the legal definition of citizens as, what it is here, the dominion. If you're talking about dominion, you're talking about rulers. You're talking about who holds dominion. Dominion is actually probably in this definition section, if I'm being honest. Knowing the old Picklemeister himself. This is something you should look at, especially if you have family. Trust. Constructive trust definitions. Black Law 6th edition. Trust created by operation of law against one who by actual or constructive fraud, by duress or by abuse of confidence, or by commission of wrong, or by any form of unconscionable conduct or questionable means. What is a constructive trust? Black's Law 6th edition. Constructive trusts do not arise by agreement or from intention, but by operation of law and fraud. And such trusts are also known as trusts el maleficio, or ex delicto, or involuntary trusts. So you do not want to be involved in an involuntary trust at all, apparently. Trust L, and that's the thing. You read a definition, and then in a law dictionary, and then you got to go look up other words that you found in the definition so that you can make sure that you're actually doing, like, interpreting it correctly. Like you hear them say some shit like the court may charge a fee for whatever, but then if you look in the Uniform Commercial Code, it talks about how may means must. And it's like, what? So they must charge a fee for use of the court. Not may, as in you may do this. Like there is a permissibility to it. You fucking better. Fucking better. Black's Law 6th edition, where actual fraud is practiced in acquiring legal title by duress or abuse of confidence, unconscionable conduct, artifice, concealment, or questionable means, and against good conscience. I just think, at least for me, I hear some of these definitions and I think, dude. Let's see, the CFR defines state as state means a state, the District of Columbia, or any territory or possession of the United States. And you're like, well, what does that mean? Well, they define government. They also define government employee. Says it encompasses senior employees, very senior employees, special government employees, and employees serving without compensation. The idea is that the 14th Amendment created a citizen that is a government employee. That's why you pay taxes. Government employees are the only people that are supposed to pay taxes. Definition of employee, U.S. Code Title 26. For purposes of this chapter, the term employee includes an officer, employee, or elected official of the United States, a state or political subdivision thereof, or the District of Columbia, or any agency or instrumentality of any one or more of the foregoing. The term employee also includes an officer of a corporation. Okay. Let's see. U.S. Code Title 42 defines that a U.S. citizen can be an association, corporation, etc. The term lawful money of the United States shall be construed to mean gold or silver coin of the United States. 12 U.S. Code 152. Let's see. One of the important things here is understanding that, like, when you're in a legal situation, that you need to be able to set the boundaries of what these words mean yourself as well. Legal is the antithesis of equitable. Wow, there's some fun ones. Motor vehicle. The term motor vehicle means every description of carriage or otherwise contrivance propelled or drawn by mechanical power or used for commercial purposes on the highways in the transportation of passengers and property or cargo. Are you, for commercial purposes, transporting passengers, like, say, an Uber driver or a taxi driver or, somebody moving property? Used for commercial purposes. The term used for commercial purposes means the carriage of persons or property for any fare, fee, rate, charge, or other consideration, or directly or indirectly in connection with any business or other undertaking intended for profit. Would highly recommend looking up business as well. And then you might say to yourself, no, I'm not a business owner, actually. Driver means any person who operates a commercial motor vehicle. Are you a driver? Are you a private motor carrier? A private motor carrier means a person who provides transportation of property or passengers by commercial motor vehicle and is not a for-hire motor carrier. Like, definitions of driver's license. Driver's license means a license issued by a state, and that's a capital S state, meaning state of Maryland, state of Pennsylvania, state of Texas, state of California, which is in the United States, which is in the District of Columbia. Employee means an operator of a commercial motor vehicle, including an independent contractor, when operating a commercial motor vehicle who is employed by an employer. Look up the definition of employer. Special maritime and territorial jurisdictions. You can look those up. Obligation or other security, foreign government. Definitely should look that up. An organization means a person other than an individual. Person's a fucked up word in the legal dictionary. There's like pages for just definitions of person, and none of them really are what you think. Let's see. De facto government. Let's see. Foreign instrumentality, meanings of person and human being. In determining the meaning of any act of Congress or of any ruling, regulation, or interpretation, this is from 1 United States Code 8, extended meanings of person and human being means infant Homo sapiens. Subsection A, in determining the meaning of any act of Congress or any ruling, regulation, or interpretation of the various administrative bureaus and agencies of the United States, United States of America, United should not be capitalized, by the way. In the de facto corporate government of United States, the word person, human being, child, and individual shall include every infant member of the species Homo sapiens who is born alive at any stage of development. Who is born alive at any stage of development. Like, this shit is a lot of work going through, and you start looking up words. United States person, U.S. person, from 25th USC 7701. A citizen or resident of the United States, a domestic partnership, a domestic corporation, any estate other than a foreign estate within the meaning of paragraph 31, and any trust if a court within the United States is able to exercise primary supervision over the administration of the trust, and one or more United States persons have the authority to control all substantial decisions of the trust. Like I said, it's important to look into this trust situation. After clearing up the above, you can clear up foreign estate and foreign trust from the same section. Foreign estate. The term foreign estate means an estate of the income of which from sources without the United States, which is not effectively connected under the conduct of a trade or business within the United States. Any business also is in the United States if it is filed with the Secretary of State. Foreign trust means any trust other than a trust described in subparagraph E. Let's see, firearm and arm. That's some shit that we like to talk about here. I know I've mentioned it. Title 26, U.S. Code 5845. Firearm and arm are two entirely different words. Arm is private. Firearm is public. The term firearm means a shotgun having a barrel or barrels of less than 18 inches in length. Definition 2. A weapon made from a shotgun, if such weapon is modified, has an overall length of less than 26 inches or a barrel or barrels of less than 18 inches in length. 3. A rifle having a barrel or barrels of less than 16 inches in length. A weapon made from a rifle, if such weapon is modified, has an overall length of less than 26 inches or a barrel or barrels of less than 16 inches in length. Any other weapon as defined in subsection E. A machine gun, any silencer, as defined in Section 921 of Title 18 United States Code, and a destructive device. The term firearm shall not include an antique firearm or any device other than a machine gun or destructive device, which, although designed as a weapon, the Secretary finds by reason of the date of its manufacturer, value, design, or other characteristics is primarily a collector's item and is not likely to be used as a weapon. Interesting. The U.S. person, here's another definition. The term United States person or U.S. person, think about every application you fill out. Are you a U.S. citizen? U.S. person means any United States citizen, permanent resident, alien, entity organized under the laws of the United States, including foreign branches, or any person in the United States. Let's see. Take a break here. Yeah, all my DC fam. 26 CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. Tax system is based on voluntary compliance. Notices of levy from the IRS are only for IRS employees/officers. Interesting. Let's see. 19 U.S. Code Section 81 talks about District of Columbia. Persons allowed to reside in zone. No person shall be allowed to reside within the zone except federal, state, or municipal officers or agents whose resident presence is deemed necessary by the board. Okay. Dude, there's a lot with the tax shit. I highly recommend going to losthorizons.com and reading his book. I've never actually completed any of the process that he gives in there, but I also have not been involved in that system in a while. I've not been interested in filling out some forms to re-contract with them and have them start banging down my door. Dude, there's so much good shit on here. Honestly, I'd really highly recommend that you get on here and start learning some of this shit. And even if you're not someone that's looking to assert their own rights, let me get off there before I keep getting half it. Even if you're not somebody that's looking to start asserting their own rights, it's good to know that, like, when you're considered an infant in the eyes of the law, and they have to take care of you, and that's why we have all these government agencies and services, because we just keep telling them we need them. We fucking need them. And look, take some of this shit, go through it, man. You can go to One Stupid Fuck. Another one is SPC University. I'll tell you what, real quick. I'll just go ahead and have that pulled up. Go ahead and share that. Pulled up. You can go to the homepage. Use discharging debt, authenticating the birth certificate. What does acceptance for value mean? I've read this. I'll just tell you some of the ones that I've read in here. I've read this one, House Joint Resolution. This is where it's now Public Law 7310, talking about the government's fucking responsible for all debts, public and private. Public and private chart. Let's see. There's so much shit on here. I'm cracking the code, third edition. Fucking, I've actually read this twice. I'm learning about the secured party process and trying to knock that out. Creditors and their bonds. If you watch any of his YouTube videos, he talks about that all the time. Dealing with presentments. I've read this. What does acceptance for value mean? I've read that. Does he have it on there twice? Yeah, he does. Gene Keating. I haven't really gone through all this, but I have seen some of the videos that Yusuf posts on there, the old Gene Keating videos. Court Survival Guide. Let me just pull this motherfucker up. Yo, I've been going through this, and I'm telling you, I feel ready. I mean, maybe I should do a whole series on this, but I mean, it tells you everything you need. Like, yeah, you're going into court, here's your checklist. You need a flag, a small U.S. flag on a stand with no gold fringe. Your own personal licensed court recorder, legal counselors, true copies or original paperwork, copies of all relevant laws that apply to your case, photocopies of the statutes, codes, laws, constitution, court survival guide, pen and paper, pocket tape recorder. Like, dude, you know, uh, this shit is real deal. I don't like that it says sovereign citizen, but it really goes into a basic strategy, talks about the object of the game, who's playing. I'm not going to dive super deep into that, but I've heard Yusuf talk about it and break down some of the shit in there when it comes to just like smacking the judge in the face. I mean, dude, there's so much to go through. I've got this on my reading list. UCC Connection. Beat Your Straw Man. I've started reading that one. The Clerk's Praxis. The Affidavit of Walker Todd, highly recommend. Debtors' Prisons, something that they're trying to bring back in America now. Highly recommend looking that up. A common law lien study guide, commercial liens. I mean, it says right in the Constitution, like, you don't need a fucking lawyer to file liens on shit. Handbook on common law pleading. I mean, dude, everything's in here. I wouldn't even be surprised if he had the fucking anarchist cookbook in here. Behold a Pale Horse. Let me tell you, here's the most important part of Behold a Pale Horse. In the version that Yusuf got on here, he's got the original PDF. You already know where I'm going. Where is it? The fucking Protocols of the Wise Men of Zion, also known as the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. But if you go get a copy of this book now, I mean, this tells you like the whole plan, dude. I mean, the Protocols is real deal, dude. I need to go back and reread this, dude. I haven't read it in so long. I mean, if you've never read Behold a Pale Horse, just to show like what do you call it? Obviously comes from Revelation. And I looked, and behold a pale horse, and the name that sat upon him was Death, and hell followed him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword and with hunger and with the beasts of the earth. I haven't read this probably since I was like 21 or 22. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, Secret Societies in the New World Order, Oath of Initiation of an Unidentified Secret Order, Secret Treaty of Verona, Hello New World Order, FEMA Emergency Management Agency. Dude, I used to read about that shit. And like some of this New World Order shit, I was like, come on, Bill. And then, COVID happened. I'm like, fuck. Are the sheep ready to shear? Anatomy of an Alliance, Lessons from Lithuania, Coup de Grace, Secret Government, Treason in High Places, Proposed Constitutional Model for the New States of America, Protocols, Elders of Zion, Story of Jonathan May, Documentation, U.S. Army Intelligence Connection with the Satanic Church, Cooper's military service record, talks about AIDS, dude, U.S. government drug involvement, Ray Kurzweil versus Hopkins, all this shit, wild, bro. Highly recommend. Get the fuck in there. Tao Jeet Kune Do, the Bruce Lee book. Never read it. You need to. I have. It's fire. We thought we were white. Communist Manifesto. Using a public defender. Super important. Rockefeller Files. Yeah, get in that. Phallic worship. It teaches you about international bills of exchange and promissory notes, the 10 maxims of commercial law. I brought that shit up earlier. Modern money mechanics. If you want to, I read, he's got Tom Schaaf's books on here as well, somewhere, like Banker's Manual and whatever. There's another one. Dude, he brings up modern money mechanics, and it talks about like the general accounting principles and how they create money and what gets done with your promissory note when you fill out an application. And I mean, it's crazy, dude. Georgia Criminal Code annotated, express trust under the common law, congressional record, intro to law merchants, how to clean your criminal record. I mean, come on, dude. A Judge Dale, a lot of good shit. George Mercier's good. Some of these people I've seen there, like some YouTube videos about him. I haven't read all this. Fruit from the Poisonous Tree. Look, he's got the protocols right here just by themselves. Because like I said, they took them out of Behold a Pale Horse. Like if you go buy a new copy of it now, it's not in there. Like how you gonna just change a book and take shit out? Look, Banking with Tom Schaaf, 1, 2, and Top Secret Banker's Manual. All three of those. How to Disappear in America. Um, some of these it looks like he's got on here multiple times, but American Jurisprudence on Business Trust, Anti-Shyster Magazine, dude, like, get the fuck in here. Self-Guide for All Men, Admiralty versus the Republic, Congressional Power over the Appellate Jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, Neo-Federalist View, like, dude, telling you, statutes for all 50 states. My man fucking has it all in here, dude. Highly recommend that you get in there. Check out if you want to go on his YouTube, it's High Frequency Radio. Start at the beginning, man. Just dive in. That's kind of where I'm at. We've been on here an hour and a half. Time to fucking go. I'm sure a bunch of this will get edited out because of dead fucking silence while I'm reading shit, but had a fun, good time doing it, and just, really kind of wanting to give an update on where I'm at, what I'm thinking about, how I'm looking to maneuver and work my way out of the system as much as I can so I can really exercise my rights as a free man. But look, if I got to operate in the system, I want to know the rules. I want to understand how to do it. So I think everybody should take the time to do that, but I understand most won't. And this is not for the faint of heart. This is for people who are committed and willing to ride out the principle of never quitting. With that, remember, let's talk about it. Patreon. I'm gonna be updating some shit, posting some shit. Probably posting a bunch of these things, but I'm telling you where to go. If you want to go there, just go. You can go there too. Take the resources and run, man. With that, Bongtimore out.